It's not 5 o'clock, and they don't care. Welcome to Wine to 5. Entertainment, education, and everyday drinking for everyday people. Your hosts are Valerie Caruso and Stephanie Davis, two wine educators who don't need a clock to know when to pour that next glass.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us again in this episode. Val has created her annual masterpiece, and I haven't even heard it yet. I'm so excited. It is freaking bloopers time, folks.
Actually, we created it together, but this is going to make our fourth annual bloopers reel. And if you missed the first three, going back to 2015, you can actually watch them on our YouTube channel because we do put them to video. We put pictures in there. So yeah, we have a playlist called Bloopers. Easy enough, right?
Totally easy. And it helps, navigate kind of the YouTube channel, right? Because there's a lot out there, but we have one special for bloopers.
I love the bloopers. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And, 2018 has been a great year. Not an easy year. I mean, it is putting together a show every single week is a little bit of an effort. 52 straight weeks of podcasting again, Steph.
I know. It's just kind of crazy when you look back and you think 52 weeks. That's a lot.
So all these slackers that take off for the holidays. No, I'm kidding. That's not. I get it because I was a zombie yesterday. But we like to have fresh content. We like to have fun times. And what all did we do this year, Steph?
Yeah.
Can we give them a little rundown of all the wonderful things that we've done, like grape gabs?
Yeah, we've had 11 grape gabs. We've had 12 regional wraps. Okay, so if you have missed any of those, you can go back and check those out. Like if you're a new listener, by the way, thank you for showing up. You can check out all these different grapes. Sometimes we call them gropes.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know either. What else have we done in 2018?
We've had 22 guests, 17 guests, and then we actually had 5 at once from the Crew Artisan College episode. 3 book reviews. And we started our Instagram feed. Okay. And we created a media kit. We have our animated video. We launched our first of our W25 Loco Edition podcast series, which you guys hopefully seem to like. We can tell from the first one. The next one's coming out the end of the first month of the new year. We partnered with Wines Till Sold Out for sponsorship, and that has been a lot of fun. And we also partnered with and have now a channel on the My Wine Society app. So we got a lot done this year.
We had a lot going on. A lot of firsts. Maybe. Yes. I think it's good. It was an amazing year. But before we get on to the bloopers reel and then the pod quiz, hope you guys are enjoying that. And our shout outs, of course. Let's cheers to 2018's good times and the goodness in our glasses because we're drinking the same cocktail this week.
I know, and cheers to the goodness in our glasses. So you only get to hear one time what's in our glasses. So Steph, you naughty girl, tell everybody what we're drinking today.
Ooh, what we're drinking. Well, I wanted to play in my kitchen, raid the pantry, do this kind of, get the creative juices going and do a blooper special cocktail. And the molasses jar was kind of just staring me in the face, begging me to do something with it. And I decided to call this cocktail Surviving Christmas.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. So it does have molasses in it. It's half an ounce of molasses, 3/4 of an ounce simple syrup, 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice, 2 ounces of Eagle Rare Kentucky Straight Bourbon, and 3 dashes of grapefruit bitter. So some of you who make cocktails or bartend or are very familiar, it's kind of a riff off of a whiskey sour, which I particularly like, but it's a richer and more bitter, because of that molasses. It gives it kind of an earthiness. I love it, and I knew Val would like it, and I was trying to think of what she would have in her cabinet, and we could do a co-cocktail together.
Yes, it's like she's summoning my soul with the dark and bitter because I did love this. I wasn't actually going to drink today. I was trying to give myself another day off because, whiskey on Christmas. But I saw the recipe and I'm like, I want that in my belly and I want it in my soul. So we are celebrating with the same tipple, which is really unusual.
It is.
But I did do some substitutions. So I did a riff on your riff. All my Eagle Rare is gone. I don't know if it got lost in the bottle shuffle or I just drank it all.
Son of a...
yeah, it wasn't a fast mover either, Steph. I don't know. But it was, it's gone. So I substituted the Redemption Wheated Bourbon because I didn't have anything that was heavy on the rye. Okay. Then I substituted Blackstrap Molasses, and it is really thick. So like shake, stir, stir. And don't shake it with ice first. I would say stir, and then go ahead and do the ice thing. Otherwise, your molasses are just going to sit there and be stuck to the ice.
Really? Because I thought when you shake it, it really did seem to help incorporate the whole thing.
I guess mine are kind of thick and kind of old. So the Blackstrap is really, really thick, and mine is super dark. And then I used orange bitters. I don't have grapefruit bitters, but as I like to say, same thing. And I was telling Steph before we started, this tastes like the bourbon-soaked fruitcake that I made last year that I pulled out this year.
Yeah. Pulled out of the freezer.
Yeah, because it's really dark. It's like dark with dates and figs and prunes and lemon
Didn't it
peel.
take you a long time to make that?
It did because I used kind of a mixture of whatever dried fruits that I thought would be fun, not those little weird green square things. I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Weird fruits that aren't fruit.
Yeah, so I actually chopped up candied lemon peel, orange peel, pineapple, and I did buy the cherries because you got to have them. But everything else is like figs and dates and really dark kind of bitter fruits. But everybody seems to like it. And I was thinking, you just put that in a blender, add a little more bourbon, and it tastes like this cocktail.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you like it. It did take a little finagling, and I was inspired by a lot of recipes I saw online. But I like how you made your own version, which looks totally different than mine.
It's coating the glass. Well, I don't have ice.
Yeah, but that's true because mine's going to be a little bit watered down because I've got some ice melting in it and stuff. But, it just goes to show how you don't have to have all the ingredients exactly the same. You just kind of wing it, and substitute. And if it doesn't taste quite right, you just kind of adjust a little bit.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what we do with our sound and this podcast. So we want you guys to sit back and listen to all the different little concoctions that came out of our mouths before they went on to the recording, or they came out of our mouths and didn't make it into the episodes. And we saved them for you, sweeping them up off the cutting room floor for this year's 2018 blooper reel.
I had way too much to drink yesterday, and it was very hard for me to open some wine today, but I'm doing it.
I keep forgetting that this is not live, and I'm not standing out there in my underwear.
No, dude. No, not only that. This is all about fun. All right. So it looks like we should just probably get into it before everything deteriorates. But before we get started, seriously,
or before we're done drinking.
Oh, and here's the part where I talk. So we've switched it up. I was making a little show note here.
Okay, I think, wait, we went over all that. Oh, look at me. Look at me. It's my turn.
Yeah.
Shut up right there.
Oh my God, that's a whole drinking podcast for a whole other day. Oh my God.
Oh God, there's not enough wine in the world right now, ladies.
No, that's why I drink more bourbon these days.
That's why we usually drink the hard stuff.
I love it.
All in the same month. I'm like, holy shit. So as far as I know, that is the entire it is Cabernet Franc. He goes, those bottles are almost empty. I'm like, what, you don't think I'm drinking bourbon every day? I'm not kidding about it on Twitter. I am. So. Oh, goodness.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm already hearing the underwear comment going somewhere.
Yeah. Nobody would know it was you but us.
Yes.
That's true.
So either January through June or June through July, it had to meet the 50% minimum alcohol by volume.
Oh, January through June or July through December.
Or January through June or July through December. What did I say?
You said January through June or June through July.
Yeah, same thing. So we are Gabe Gap. that this is where it's believed that vineyards in the Mediterranean, I was going to say the Mediterranean.
Well, that went me going down a rabbit hole of what does that mean? And it's spelled...
That went me going down a rabbit
Did
hole?
I say that?
You said that went me going down
That took me down a rabbit hole. It's like the gropes thing, Val. I mean,
Yes,
you know.
yes. I love it.
I put a bunch of words together and it doesn't form a sentence, but I say it anyway.
For letting me kind of roll around with the... That didn't come out right.
I know, I was like, how much have I had to drink already? I think they're full strength wine cooler.
Nice.
And thank you so
Working
much.
the
I've been
French, girl.
practicing.
Bloopers music is You I'll by Dr. Turtle, used under Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 license, short from the original. For more, go to drturtle.bandcamp.com. Oh my gosh, is pod quiz time already, Steph?
It's pod quiz time.
I like this. I think it encourages us to kind of look for things that are new and interesting or think about things in a different way. So last week we asked you about the cuvée. The word cuvée has several meanings, and we asked if you could think of at least 3 different meanings. So I have the answer right here, and it can be tricky, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've heard it, like, I remember when I first started learning, I was like, I thought cuvée meant that. And why are they saying that? Something else, you know?
Yeah, so what was your first thought? What was the first thing you learned cuvée was?
I thought it was like a blend, you know?
Uh-huh.
So that was the first thing I thought. And then when I started hearing it in other references, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm wrong, but maybe there's something here to learn, you know?
Yeah, so it is true that most of us think it is a blend. And a lot of times it'll be maybe one of the better offerings that a winemaker might have. Like in French, they use tête de cuvée, meaning this is kind of our best.
Right.
You know, kind of like over here, we use reserve. You know, it doesn't have a, you know, we'll say reserve, meaning, okay, not so much we aged it longer, but this is our best stuff. If you go to some wine rooms, they have a reserve room. And so kind of like a cuvée, that's how a lot of people have used it. In the champagne world, though, when I was working on my champagne master level certificate, I learned all this about the liters of juice in the press. When the juice is flowing off the press, the free flow juice, they're calling that first 2,500 liters, or 2,050 liters, the cuvée.
Right.
They call the next press the tie. They have the different words for it. I'm like, okay, that's confusing. And then when they put the wine into the bottle to make the sparkle happen, when they take all those base wines, because remember, champagne mostly is a multi-vintage wine. So that blend of all those reserve wines and those base wines, so they put that in the bottle before the yeast and the sugar and the liqueur de tirage goes in, they call that the cuvée.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait, there's more. Because in some countries, they might just call it a blend. So like you said, but it can also be used in chocolate, beer. So I guess when somebody's making something and they want it to be, you know, they might name it something like special cuvée, and they could be talking about a chocolate, and you've seen it on beer labels now too. So I thought that was kind of interesting that you can use it outside of the wine world. So in the wine world, there are references just like a lot of other words. And then there are some words that we can take outside the wine world. So I think that's interesting.
I think it's interesting, too. I like that. I didn't know chocolate cuvée. Look at that.
Yes, just to give you guys the OCW, the official Oxford Companion of Wine version, she said it can be used to mean any container full or even a lot of wine.
Yeah.
And that's why she says, I love her. She's so frank, and I just love that about her. Therefore, wine labels often carry relatively meaningless descriptions incorporating the word cuvée. Bam!
That's right. That's too many meanings means it's meaningless.
Right. And some of you are going, there really is no Santa Claus.
Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, so on to the next week's pod quiz question. What is the Queen of England, so Queen Elizabeth's favorite cocktail?
Yeah, this is more like a trivia question, I think.
Yeah.
But embedded in this answer is a learning experience.
That's right.
In and of itself.
Right.
So it's not 5 o'clock and one doesn't care. So.
And, you know, because we're drinking spirits, I thought it would be fun to have kind of more of a spirit question. But you'll get it. Once you listen next week, you'll realize why this was all coming together in the pod quiz.
And I love the Queen's, by the way. She's got a parody account. It's not really Queen Elizabeth's account, okay? It's a parody account.
Really?
Yeah, and she's always talking about like rearranging the cabinet, the gin cabinet. And I think I tweeted out something about a queen mother of a hangover. And she's always, I mean, it's a pretty funny account, but usually the term gin does come up there somewhere. But that's not the answer.
That's right.
We'll let you guys know the answer next week, and we'll explain to you what we got going on here. But now we have shout-outs.
Now it's time for shout-outs. So cheers to our show sponsor, Weekly Tasting from WTSO. Wine still sold out.
I love that they have a lineup called Holiday Leftovers.
I know.
For $69.99. They've got the Marquita Tomares Convento de San Prudencio Rioja Crianza 2014. That'd be from Spain. They've got the Deboeuf Côte de Pie Morgon, which I've actually had on this show before in the past. Yep. The Simon Sig Chenin Blanc Stellenbosch from South Africa, another producer I absolutely love.
Yum.
They've got a Casa Setaro Campanelle Falangina Campagna 2015.
I love Falangina.
Then,
I think we've talked about doing a grape grope gab, but we haven't... we haven't done that, but I love Falangina.
I do too. I love the white wines of Northern Italy and Southern Italy, especially. Mm-hmm. And so if you're going to buy them, that's probably one I would look for. They've also got France's champagne alternatives at Wine to Sold Out, or at Weekly Tasting, excuse me. And it looks like it's got the W25 name all over it. Okay, I haven't seen this because I'm just now putting my cellar back together after the renovation. They've got the Lagrange au Garçon Brut Cremant de Bordeaux. They've got the Comtesse de Saint-Pé Rosé. We had this on the show before, haven't we?
I think so.
Cremant de Bordeaux.
So yeah, they have 2 Cremants from Bordeaux, Brut, and then a Rosé, so you can kind of compare those two.
Bam. And then the Chateau d'Avril Brut Cremant de Loire, and the Domaine de Jouy Brut Vin Mousseau. And all of those would be non-vintages.
Yes.
Could they be cuvées? They could be.
There you go. There you go. So go to your listener page at weeklytasting.com/W25 to sign up and get started, or just go to our webpage and click on the link on the right. Or just the link that when you see it, click on it.
Yeah, it's got grapes.
It's got grapes on it. Grapes.
Okay, these cocktails are making us darn silly, Steph. You want to do Patreon love?
Yes. So to our Patreons, thank you so much. Our Reserva Superiore supporter, Robin, from Girls Gone Grape, and her new edition of the Sip on Life magazine is out. So check that out. And our Reserva supporter, Auntie in Georgia, our Tenacious Tasters, Jeff E. from the We Like Drinking podcast, Sebastian of Sassy Italy Tours, David and Lisa in Illinois, Anne-Marie in Virginia, Lynn of Savor the Harvest blog, and Sharon in Florida.
And our It's Not 5 o'clock and One Doesn't Care listeners, Meg in South Dakota, Clay in Arizona, John, Andrew, and Kristen in California, Chantel in Ontario, Canada, Mary Lou in Pennsylvania, Kathy in Georgia, Chris, Janet, and Diane in Colorado, Stephen Renee in Illinois, Kathy in Tennessee, Sean in Ohio, Ashley and Sarah in North Carolina, and Michelle in Nevada.
And our Tastemaker listeners, David in Scotland, Carol in Kentucky, Karen in California, Chip and Katie in Pennsylvania, Serena in New York, Annie in Colorado, and Danielle.
Go to wine5.com and click on support to show your support and find more detail. Sorry, I was typing. Between our weekly episodes, you can find goodies on our website, wine5.com. You can find us in the social spaces at Wine to 5. And so we're going to have a happy new year. We hope you have a happy new year. And from all of us to all of you,
cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Wine to 5 podcast.
2019.
Be sure to check us out at Facebook/WineTWO5. And tune in next week for more fun and useful sip tips.
Here we come.